did have, at my son's Christmas concert, I had a seizure. I was just sitting there and everything just started to get, it sounds weird, but the sound in my head got really distorted and echoey, and I basically had a seizure. They took me outside, took me to the hospital. Did a bunch of tests, and they just didn't know what happened. I had some follow-up tests done here in London, and they just chalked it up to I just fainted, and hypoglycemic, whatever. And I was in the military for 5 years, and I have had incidences where I have fainted, so I know what that feels like, and this was different than that, and that's what I told them initially. And my wife asked too, where we asked them, you know, what are the chances that that we don't know a lot about this at the time. I said, what are the chances it's a brain tumor? And they just said, well, that's not likely. I was driving, I had my boat on the back, and I was just outside of town, and the same echoey sound in my head came back, and I did promise my doctor that I would try to pull over if I was driving at that time, and I looked in my side view mirror, and there was a guy right behind me, and I didn't want him to hit me, so I thought, well, I'll just pull over at the next side road, and that's the last thing I remember. I blacked out, and I went through oncoming traffic, and I went into, it's called the Hay Swamp. It's kind of a low area, and it says danger, deep water. I went through the fence, through the sign, missed a tree by 7 feet. Of course, they took me to the hospital, and my family doctor insisted they finally get to the bottom of it and did an MRI. I got a call from the neurologist here in London, and he told me what was wrong, and he said, we've finally found out what's happening to you, and you're not fainting, you're having seizures, and your seizures are caused by, he said, a relatively small, benign brain tumor called a meningioma. When I went in to see Dr. Advocacy for my results and that, I saw it, and I don't know what small is, but for me it was huge because it was 48 millimeters, which is basically the size of a kiwi. I was out of the hospital in 2 days, everything went great, and I was back to work within 2 weeks. Well, my family, number one. You know, you have to be positive through everything. I have my faith, I must say that, and I have my faith in the science as well. So I think both things together really helps you to get through. 100%. Haven't had any problems, and I feel great. I'm one of the very lucky ones, because there's lots that are not so lucky. In preparation to the surgery, they gave me a handbook, and I think that's the first time I saw I mean, I've heard about it, but before that, but I had the handbook and I read it cover to cover. It was very helpful in explaining what's going to happen and the different types of brain tumors and support for families and recovery and pretty much everything, so it was good. I do take part in the spring sprint that's coming up, and I'm putting a team in Exeter, in my hometown, and it's called South Huron Heading for Hope. My kids took part last year, and I have a big team that helped out, and it was great. So we're trying our best to raise money and awareness. I think the research is number one. Obviously, they have to keep pushing to find a cure.
Yeah.
I think it's important that people know that they can do so much today, and that's you know, it's scary. It scares the daylights out of you, but what they can do here in London and probably right across Canada, they save lives every day, and it is pretty. What I went through was relatively easy, but for some it's complicated. But they can do a lot, and there's support out there, and you're not alone for sure. day.